on today's video, I want to talk about how you are continuing to carry the past with you in your present moment right now, and how by doing so, you are actually impacting your future in a very negative way, in a way you don't want to. So let's dive in. So for those who are new here, my name is Kara Michelle, and I am here to help you live your truth. So today I want to talk about the heavy weight of the past and how it's impacting your present and your future. And maybe you can make sense of this already because of the chronological timeline of present and future. I mean, if you're impacting your present moment right now, obviously that is going to have an impact on your future. But what's important to realize is that it all stems from the past and all of these things are tied in together. And in order to create the future that you want, you have to do the work, backtrack, release everything from the past so that your present moment is no longer held back by the past. And therefore, who you are right now in this moment is going to be so much more capable and strong and powerful at getting to where it is you want to be in the future. Let me know in the comments if that makes sense to you. Give it a thumbs up if it does. So when we are carrying the weight of our past, this could be experiences, memories, insecurities, anxieties, all the beliefs we've created, right? Pretty much the way I see it, most of our negative programming stems from the past and from the way that we've interpreted our experiences and how we carry things. So when you have trauma, for instance, and I want to note that trauma doesn't have to be this huge shocker traumatic incident like we usually associate it with, but even as children, if something kind of abrupt happens or we get yelled at, or certain situations to children can be very traumatic, and so it actually creates the same trauma response in the body, which is why everyone has some kind of trauma, and you might not even realize it, but you likely have been carrying something from your childhood that created this trauma response. And we'll do that another time, but when you're carrying any of the negativity and the stress, the struggles, the pain, that's obviously bogging you down. And I like to think of it as like carrying a backpack filled with rocks. So every single, because if you haven't noticed yet, I like to visualize things and imagine them that way. But anyway, if you are wearing a backpack and this experience happens and it was hard, you pick up this rock and you put it in your backpack. And then this happens and it was difficult and you put it in there. And then this moment of anxiety, or this moment you didn't feel good enough, or this time you got picked last for soccer tryouts, and you put that in your backpack. And a parent made you feel bad because you forgot to do your homework, and then all of a sudden you think you're a bad student, you put that in your backpack. You get my point. All of these experiences and negative emotions in the sense of like anxiety, fear, self-doubt, we'll classify them as negative for today, you're putting that in your backpack. And now as you continue to grow up, that's all something you're carrying. It's showing up with you every single day. So as you get older and you're applying for jobs or meeting new friends or partners, or thinking of starting your own business or going to university, right? Whatever experience you're doing, you're carrying this heavy backpack. And that is going to totally influence how you show up at these situations and how you perceive yourself, because your memory bank and your belief system is totally based on what you've been carrying all these years. So when you are carrying those things, it makes it very difficult to show up in a new light. And this is why you might be attracting patterns and negative cycles that continue to come to you. And this might be why everything just feels very heavy and a little bit disheartening, and you question and you feel hopeless, wondering like, is this ever going to get better? Or am I just destined to be in this place forever? And that's something I used to ask myself as well, of like, is this where I'm always going to be, like in this struggle and hating myself and not feeling good enough and feeling so anxious about new situations and social things? Is that my life forever, right? Those were the things I felt at one point because I was carrying this backpack that no longer served me. So I dive into this a lot more in a free training, and I've put the link down below in the description box for my free case study all about breaking free of anxiety, limiting beliefs, and past struggles so that you can start living out your dreams in 90 days or less. And inside this case study, I share with you the 3 keys, like the 3-step system that has helped me and all of my clients do this work to take off that backpack for good, to learn how to release and let go of all those things they've been carrying and all the emotions and habitual patterns they've created, and how to let go of that so that then they can build up their confidence and start to align and step into their higher self. So it's really, really an amazing training. So you definitely want to check it out if you're like relating to this video and you know that you're carrying a heavy backpack right now. But the other part I just wanted to add to this YouTube video is how our future is a direct expression of our present. And I don't know if I said that the right way as how I imagined to say it, but if you are carrying that weight every single day, you're never going to get to where it is you want to be. And I was talking to a client about this just this morning actually, and telling her to future pace herself around who is it you want to be, what do they look like, how do they act, how do they respond to things, and like how can you try to step into that person right now? How would they be acting? How would they be showing up? And for instance, she was really struggling with anxiety, and it was like, okay, anxiety is something that becomes stronger and stronger the more you're stuck in it, because it's habitual patterns and your mind creates these neural pathways. It gets used to that emotion and that becomes the default, anxiety. So when you identify with that so strongly of like, that's who I am, I'm anxious and I struggle with this all the time, that's your belief, but it doesn't have to be true. So you want to separate from that by using the different mindset reprogramming tools that I share in the free training. But you want to separate from that, and then you want to start to step into the new identity of your dream self. And like, instead of continuing to believe I'm an anxious person, I'm going to believe I'm not anxious at all. I'm free, I'm confident, I'm happy every day. The world just feels light. And I'm going to work on bringing my energy, my emotions, my feelings all into that place of what my future self would look like. So that's why living from the present isn't going to get you to your future either. It's really about jumping into that place and embodying the full facet and the full experience of what your future self looks like, how they live, and jumping on the fast track. And I think where a lot of people get stuck is that they continue to think like about their present moment instead of thinking about, wait, what would that person do? What decisions would that person make? How would they act? How would they respond to different stressors? How would they show up each day? How would they take care of themselves? When you're thinking from that place, you're thinking from the future. And that's how you're actually going to become that. That's how you're going to change your present. But if you're thinking from the present right now, you're actually thinking from your past. And that's why you're going to stay limited and stay stuck. So you want to shift out of that place and you want to just start living like your future self. Start living like your dream self right now. Show up in the world how they would. Make it a fun game. Pretend you're already that person. Take on that energy and feel into it of how good it would feel to be that person. And your life is it's naturally going to form around that, because you're going to start acting that way. So you're becoming your dream future self right now, just by believing you can and by feeling into it and acting the way that they would. So take off that backpack, let go of the past, ignore where your current present is, or don't necessarily ignore it, but don't give it so much power, and instead put your focus and energy into the future and showing up exactly how that person would. So let me know in the comments if you have any questions, if this was helpful. And I really love talking about past, present, future, because it is a huge component in order to get to where it is you want to go. And like I said, my free training talks about that in the description below. You can check that video training out. And if not, let me know if you want more videos like this about past, present, future, or if you have any questions related to this, and I can do a video on that as well. So thank you so much for being here. Remember, I'm here to help you live your truth, which also means your true, abundant, limitless self. So start acting like them, start believing it, start feeling into it, and you'll get there way sooner.